Today we're going to be working on our weekly actions for the week of January 13th through the 19th in my MakseLife companion notebook. To do this, we're going to look at last week, reflect on that a little bit. I've already done my reflections, so I'm just more or less reading them to you, and then we're going to set some new goals for this next week. So let's take a look back at last week, first of all. So for personal, I had brainstorm a creative project. I did that. I decided I'm going to do the writing project, which I thought I was going to do anyhow. I have decided, however, that I'm going to delay when I start that a little bit, and I might start it in February opposed to now because I want to start it at the beginning of a month. Start and end time for work did not work out. I kept on forgetting. So I think I need to change that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the reflections. Start outfit board, totally done. Declutter undergarments, also done. So overall, I think I did a pretty good job for personal. Fun and recreation, I did nothing here. I didn't feel well several days this week, and I think with that, I just didn't have the extra time to do this. And part of it was I got so engrossed in some content creation research that I forgot. So this will be a bigger priority this next week. Work and learning, work through data to make posting daytime. So I did a lot of that. So posting this next week, or when this goes out, I think, is going to be different than my usual posting, and we're going to see how that goes and whether or not that is better or worse than my current posting times. It's a little, so I expect it to be a little bit unpredictable because people are used to me posting at a particular time, and so they may not look for that other time slot. So we're going to have to take that into account when we look at the data. I did post 3 times on Instagram this week. They were last minute, not well thought out posts, but they were posts. For family and relationships, I did have the meeting on chores. However, I did not have everything in place to support we did it on Monday, and then I didn't have the complete chore chart all filled out. And so I was doing daily checklist, and some days, like the days I wasn't feeling good, didn't happen. And so I need to come up with a little bit more of a concrete plan there. And because there isn't a set consequence, there's not a lot of motivation. There's also not a set reward. So I need to work on that aspect for my kids. I did schedule time with Jared, and I did decide on a date night for this month, because those are 2 separate things. But overall, I think I did okay in this category. Not great, but okay. As far as health and wellness, I did my PT exercises daily. I missed, I think, 1 day. Track steps. So I wore my Apple Watch, but I wasn't actually paying attention to my step counts, so I'm not going to count that. Walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes. I did that the first day, and then I overdid and got sick. So I need to, because not only did I do that, but I did a lot of extra housework that day as well. And I think the combination was too much for my body, including the PT. So that kind of put me in a bad location. So that was kind of hit or miss. The sleep tracking, kind of hit or miss. Food log went really well until the end of the week, I think. And then I wasn't eating regularly, which made it hard for me to log. So we're going to be doing some big adjustments in this area this week. As far as spiritual and personal growth, I didn't do the meditation. Finding one guiding principle, I did do that. So that's over here. And the guiding principle I chose because this is one that has always resonated with me and is a core on how I try to treat people, which is do unto others as you would have do unto you. Really big for me. So I felt like it was a good fit. So we have that. I did not do the bonus. For financial, I did the research on the software. I didn't talk to my husband. There were other things going on, and so I haven't crossed that bridge. I'm hoping to do it today, but It just hasn't happened as of yet. For physical environment, I'm giving myself half credit for starting chores and the daily check-ins, because I was, on the days that I was feeling good, checking in with them and making sure they did things. But on the days that I didn't feel good, there was no follow through. Clean and organized crafts didn't happen because of being sick and because of like me trying to pick up the slack. I didn't have the extra time to clean that area. Find 3 services to remove squirrel. I did find them. I wrote down information and everything. And then my husband was like, I can do this. And he's actually taken, I'll say, baby steps. So I'm giving him another week before I actually call a service. And I'm like, okay, come and deal with these squirrels. So that's kind of where goals went this last week. So overall, I think I did okay. Not as good as I would have liked, but also not horrible. So my reflections, they always take you through a couple of steps. So feel free to pause and write these out for yourself. The first question is wins. So I only have a couple here. I took a mini creative break from content, just a day or two, not thinking about content and not worrying about doing it. And I think my brain kind of needed that reset. Am I still feeling a little bit almost burnt out from Vlogmas? Yes. And that is, I think, what's causing some of my delays in getting videos out. So I need to figure out if I need a longer break. Emily is all caught up on her schoolwork. PT is going great and I'm seeing improvements. And I did get that decluttering of my wardrobe that I had set done. What worked is the next question. So the PT that I'm doing, or the service that I'm using, they have an app that'll track and walk you through all of your exercises. So I think PT is going really well and that the app is really helping. Morning routines are working really well. The weekly check-ins are also going well. And oh, I put me time here and it was supposed to be at the next one. Sorry, I got interrupted. Anyhow, what didn't work, chores was the number one thing that I was annoyed with myself about. The daily check-ins just were not happening because I was sick. So need to be more firm, have a more strict infrastructure for them to work in. This is talking about my kids. End time for work didn't work. Too many works in that sentence. Anyhow, setting an end time just wasn't working for me. So I'm going to go about it a little differently this week. Health and wellness, I just think I had too much in that category along with all of the other things I had going on. So that did not work. The other thing I'm actually going to add here is that my planner is giving me some issues. So I switched planners last week from my Hobonichi cousin to a Sterling Ink backup that I had. I'm really frustrated with the bleed through and the extent of it. I don't know that I'm going to be able to maintain it in those planners due to that reason. I'm trying to work through it, but all the changes are hard and it takes me a while to get back into my rhythm. And the fact that the Sterling Ink doesn't have the daily pages in the back, like you can make them, but they're not pre-printed there. And I like a pre-printed page. So I'm struggling a little bit in that aspect just to get into a new rhythm. The lessons learned, I had too many things in health. I'm starting to wonder if the meditation goal that I set at the beginning of the year maybe is a should goal opposed to a goal that it actually fits with me. So I'm considering taking that off the table. So for this week, I think we're just going to ignore it. I don't need to work on everything right now was the other big takeaway I had from this week. I think spreading my focus out so much led to not everything feeling complete and feeling a little bit like I was on that hamster wheel. Adjustments I want to make. I want to set aside personal growth for this week and just not worry about it. I want to lessen health goal expectations, to one and focus on just that so that I really can cement that into everything that's going on. Come up with outcomes for not doing chores, small steps here. One thing I'm thinking that maybe instead of giving them a whole list of, do all of these things, maybe I just give everybody one thing they have to be in charge of this week and make sure that one thing is done. And then next week we can add on another thing. Because it's not like they're not old enough to do these things, but because of the ADHD, I think we need to set in place a routine, and routines are always better when you start small. So I think that's where I'm going to go with that. As far as the squirrel remover, so I've decided I'm going to give Jared another week. I have my research done. So if at the end of this week he hasn't done anything or we haven't seen any improvements, then I'm going to call, and I think I'm going to make that a firm date and make sure that he understands that's a firm date. I want to scale back and go for easy wins this week so that I feel like I'm moving forward. All right, with that all being said, let's get into this week's actions. And I decided I'm going to use some of the stickers that I bought from MakseLife this last year. These are functional stickers. It came in a big pack, and I just picked out all the ones that were kind of matching to use this week. So let's go ahead and for personal, I just want one like this. I'll just put it down over here. If I can put it down straight, right? So, oh, and it's not straight. It really isn't. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can pick it up and put it down straight without undo. Maybe. Oh no. Okay, that's better. So this one's going to be under time management, I'm going to say. And that's going to be to simply punch a time clock. There are apps out there. I think I already have one downloaded so that when I sit down to do work at my desk, I can punch a time clock and say, okay, I'm starting at this time, I end at this time, and really have a better idea of my start and end times currently. I think trying to change those may not be the right step first without understanding where things lay. So that's the first one. And the second one, which is going to be a little bit smaller, maybe. I don't know, maybe I'll put it right here and hope it's straight. So this one's going to do with my wardrobe, and we're only going to do these two this week. So for my wardrobe purposes, I decluttered undergarments last week. So this week I am going to evaluate needs and buy. So I want to evaluate what I need, whether or not I need any more of any particular item, and make sure that I purchase those items. Again, small steps as far as the wardrobe goes, so I think that's going to be a good spot. Next, for fun and recreation, instead of having multiple things here, we're just going to focus in on one, which is reading. And we're going to do an audiobook because audiobooks are also easy. But the goal will be to just listen to an audiobook this week. Oh, that's spelled wrong. There we go. Listen to one book. And not a cheesy romance. I discovered that cheesy romances have gotten a little more spacey than I realized. Cannot listen to those. So that's going to be my big goal there. And we're just going to leave it with that. It's easy to maintain, easy to get there. For work and learning, I do have a couple of things here. And I kind of touched base a little bit on this as we were going over stuff, but the big thing is going to be testing out some new time slots. So I'm going to say posting time. And I've already, like, in my other planner, like, looked at everything and picked some time slots that I want to put stuff out. So we're going to say new time experiment, which will either work great or be a huge flop. We'll see. And then the other thing I want to do, I think we'll do the other bigger box here, has to do with Instagram. So with Insta posting, we're going to try different types of posts this week. So I want to put out one reel, one post, and one story, and just see how that goes. And I'm hoping to pre-plan those, but I'm not sure that that's going to fully work. And then I do have kind of a side item that I think is going to be easy to do. Can I do it with these stickers? Maybe this one. I guess I should have put the stickers down first, huh? But let's see here. Where can I put you? Do I put you over working? Okay, I guess we will. We'll kind of cover up learning there. And this one is to make my wish list. It should be fairly easy to make, but just having a physical wish list of companies I would like to work with. It gives me a goal. And there are some companies out there that I really appreciate. Like, one of the companies that are going to be on the list is going to be MakseLife, because I really like their system. It works really well for me, and it's something I can fully get behind. And it's going to be looking at other companies that fit within the parameter of what I'm doing. Another one, which I'm already working with, is Mandy Lynn Plans, because I like her as a person. I like the product that she makes, and I want to support people who are just good people. Does that make sense? Okay, family and recreation. We have 3 here. So let's keep that in mind when we're putting these down, right? So I'm going to have one right up here. Let's do one of the really small ones actually this week over here, because I have a smaller item. And then we'll do a bigger box. So for our small box, I'm going to put date night. It's, well, day afternoon. We're going on a lunch date. And then we have the weekly check-ins. These are just check-ins with my kids to make sure everything is going well. And that's going to be a consistent thing throughout the year. And then the last one down here is going to be chores. So within chores, we need to set one item per kid. And then we also need to come up with consequences, be them good or bad. And I think I need to post that along with the chores. For health and wellness, I think I'm just going to really pare it down to essentially 2 things. So health and wellness is blue. And one of them's a small thing and one of them is kind of maintaining, right? So maybe not that small. Let's do this one. If you hear talking in the background, my kids are downstairs and being very loud. Okay, for health and wellness, our big thing is going to be movement. So I'm just going to be focusing on that aspect of the things I want to do, because my yearly goals encompass a lot of different things, but I was trying to do them all at once. So instead, let's focus on movement, do our PT exercises, and walk 10 minutes on the elliptical. You know what, maybe let's, instead of 10 minutes, let's do 5. So that I'm working up to a good point. And 5 should be really easy. So we're going to do that. And then I'm also just going to wear my Apple Watch. And write down the totals. So that way I can actually see, where am I at in doing my walking. I think I might need to do some adjustments also with my Apple Watch step goal to make sure, because it's a new watch, I need to put it at an appropriate point for me. We're going to skip over personal growth and spirituality for this week. Not worry about it at all. For the financial portion, again, small steps. So this week, like I want to say like purchase and setup, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that we're just going to focus on purchasing software. End of story. So, because I still need to talk to my husband, get him on board, and then purchase, which I think I'm going to go with Quicken, but I need to get him on board first. For physical environment, so we already have the chores over here, so I don't know that I need to put it down a second time. So my big thing is going to be, well, I guess my 2 things that I'm going to put down here are going to be, oops, that's almost, let's try and be straight a little bit here. Come on. Well, almost. Anyhow, this week we're going to work on my morning routine and making sure that gets done every day. Because if that gets done, then the household stuff is at a better point. And to go with the chores, what I'm going to say is daily check-in. So I need to put chore check-in over here. And then the last one will be, I think I'm going to say, if he hasn't done anything by Friday, I'm calling the squirrel guy. If no improvement by Friday morning, call squirrel people. That way there's a set date, and if I'm not seeing improvement, if he hasn't made the time to do something, then I have a firm date. It was supposed to be this last Friday, but then he was like, when I came to him with the information, he was like, no, I'm going to make time for it. And it's now Sunday, and he's moved the ladder from the garage to the attic opening that hasn't gone up. So we're getting closer. but I don't know if I can adjust to his time schedule. So we'll see. So that is my weekly actions for this week. I am curious, what are you guys focusing on this week? Do you have the same problem as me where you try to do 5 million things and then realize that you're not doing any of them at peak performance? I think that's my biggest downfall right now. But anyhow, that's all I have for today. I hope it helps you guys set your own goals. If this was helpful for you, or if you like the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button over there, especially with me changing up some of the posting times. Make sure you hit that bell notification, and that'll tell you when I'm posting. Anyhow, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, I'll see you really soon.